Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So yesterday an Overwatch PTR was set up with the new ranked mode on it, and it went live across all regions. We went through the basics of it in yesterday's video along with the golden guns, but now we want to talk about the game modes that have been altered for competitive and also talk about sudden death.
In case you don't know, PTR is an abbreviation for Public Test Region. This version of Overwatch is a test version that is released to be bug tested and reviewed by the community. However, this also means that the client is a bit broken at times. The ping is also horrible for us Europeans as the PTR servers are in the US, resulting in a 200 ms ping, so it's kind of just borderline not playable at the moment. Kaplan has also previously said that they will make changes to the competitive mode as the seasons go along, so keep that in mind as we criticize the current system.
So to begin with, we're going to go over the systems in place and then discuss our opinions on them. We'll start with the placement games really quickly. Basically, your rank is decided by playing 10 placement games. The system will then give you an initial rank. It's not as obvious as if you win 6 games out of 10, your rank is 60, and even if you and a friend play all of your matches together like me and Miska did, you may be given different ranks. We assume it's to do with other variables such as contribution with objective time and stuff like that. It's also worth adding that when you start in ranked initially, there's also a chance of you playing with people that are still in their placement games. Overall, we kinda like the system. We lost a lot of placement matches but still got a fairly high MMR of around 50. The rank system does look a lot harder to climb than we first envisioned, but we need more time to actually check this out and give you a proper review of that. But now we're going to go over the competitive settings for the capture point assault maps.
The new system for the 2 capture point maps, aka Assault, works in a stopwatch-esque way. Both teams attack and defend for a total of 10 minutes each, receiving 1 point per control area captured. When both teams' 10 minutes have run out and you've played however many rounds you manage to get through in that duration, the team with most points will win. In the case of both teams having an equal amount of points after the 2x 10 minutes have passed, the match will go into a sudden death, which we'll get onto shortly.
So that's capture point maps. What's the deal with payload maps now? Well, like capture points, it's a point-based system based on checkpoints, but there are also independent variables which we also really like. The first is a distance-based system. For example, if the enemy team push the payload past point A on King's Row but only get it to the alleyway just before point B, all the attacking team have to do is push the payload beyond that point and the match will immediately end and you will win. Another system that is similar to this is that if the enemy team can't take the first capture point on King's Row and you do, again the match will immediately end and you'll win that ranked game as well. I really like this system as it sort of highlights the fact that they don't want draws all of the time. Basically anything that doesn't involve both teams finishing the map completely or both teams not being able to capture the first point on hybrid maps won't end in a draw. We'll speak about this more a little later, but now we're going to speak about sudden death and basically what's wrong with it.
Sudden death is what happens when the game is tied and a winner cannot be decided. In this case there is a coin flip which decides what team is going to attack and defend. The game takes place on the same map and basically the attacking team have to take the first objective in a short amount of time. And if the defenders hold it, they win. If the attackers take it, they win. Simple as that. But at the moment we feel that the sudden death is currently a bit broken and also not fair like it was intended to be. In the case of a draw, it comes down to a coin flip deciding which team gets to attack or defend, and the issue there with this current system is that certain maps are easier to defend on than others, and spawn locations also need to be taken into account here, as well as the fact that the attackers still get overtime. We had a game earlier today on Route 66 for example, where we defended for the initial time, only to wipe once in that overtime and have a long run back from our spawn, and that's what we lost the game of, just of one wipe. We had wiped the attacking team several times, but our one was enough for them to simply just win the whole thing. The sudden death then mainly becomes an issue for payload maps obviously, as the start of these vary a lot in difficulty for both attackers and defenders. And no matter how much faster you finish the payload map than the enemy team, you still have a chance to be put at a disadvantage. The old sudden death would instead pit the 2 teams against each other on a random control map area to decide who won. Whilst this meant a different game mode decided the outcome of the match, it was still more fair due to the control maps being symmetrical, not giving either team an advantage in any way.
Because of the problems with the sudden death mode, a lot more people are asking for a stopwatch. Stopwatch is the game mode a big part of the competitive audience want. It's basically who does the map quicker. It means no draws and no chance for sudden death situations. It also promotes faster gameplay with urgency, which makes it much more interesting to watch. There are a number of things wrong with it though, and Jeff Kaplan has already spoken about stopwatch and his desire not to use it. Stopwatch means that matches won't be played out in their entirety most of the time, so I kinda get Jeff's decision and kind of agree with it. But then isn't that what the distance feature in Payload map does anyway? I mean, if you fail to capture the first point on King's Row again and the enemy team does, then they automatically win. The match has ended prematurely in this case, as the full 5 to 10 minutes have not been played out. I'm definitely not saying that the game mode should be stopwatch, and I do think we can do better than that game mode, but I also do think the time should be accounted for as a variable like distance has been. In my opinion, the distance variable has made Payload so much more enjoyable to play. And who knows, maybe just changing it all to pure stopwatch is the way to go. This current system, at least with the sudden death mode, is not it, however.
So now to summarize our opinion real quick. The new Assault map system is pretty good and makes for interesting matches. Distance system for Payload and hybrid maps is enjoyable and feels natural. Leavers penalty and the fact that a match doesn't count if someone leaves is a great thing. However, the sudden death is just completely off and is far from an improvement. Hopefully we can see some changes made, and maybe the new sudden death was only there to be tried out in the PTR. Either way, it was a step in the wrong direction for sure.
And that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. We do want to iterate that we're not just being critical for the sake of being critical. The game is in PTR, it's basically back in beta again, I suppose, and we wanted to give our feedback, and we want to hear your feedback in the comments below as well. Thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you next time.